1895, Japan acquired Taiwan Island from the Qing Empire as their first colony. For the next 50 years, Japan occupied Taiwan, infusing it with their traditions, culture, and expertise. The colonial legacy of the Japanese occupation period was deep and long-lasting for both colonized and colonizer.
Good morning, everyone. Our team is formed by
Milano Jimenez.
Jesus and Luis Alfonso Cruz, your server. Today we are going to talk about Japan and Taiwan, and how Japan colonized Taiwan after the first Sino-Japanese War. This happened between 1894 and 1945. It is an important story because it shows how one country can control another.
That's so sad. Did Japan change Taiwan a lot?
Yes, Japan built roads, schools, and hospitals, but they also forced Taiwanese people to learn Japanese and act like Japanese. Many people lost their freedom and traditions.
Japan wanted to be a strong and modern country just like Europe. They fought China, and in 1895 Japan won the war. After that, China had to give Taiwan to Japan.
So Taiwan became Japan's first colony, right?
Exactly, Japan said wanted to help Taiwan become modern, but really they wanted power, land, and resources. Taiwan was good for farming and trade.
But for the people in Taiwan, things were very hard. They didn't want Japan to rule them. Some people fought back, but Japan used violence to stop them.
When Japan lost World War II in 1945, they had to leave Taiwan, but they have affects the colonization style. Taiwan became modern, but also a mixed identity, part Chinese, part Japanese, and unique.
So what can we learn from this story?
Oh, it's important to remember the past. Colonialism changed people and countries forever. If we understand history, we can understand why some nations are rich or poor, and why people still fight for freedom today. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
In the 1860s, the Western powers added the ports of Damsui and Anping as treaty ports. With this, Taiwan managed to develop a small export market for Taiwanese camphor and teas. Despite this, the majority of the population farmed for themselves. In general, there was little infrastructure, education, and economic development. Public health measures had not yet been implemented. Taiwanese weather is tropical and mosquitoes are rampant, so diseases like malaria regularly sapped people's productivity. Japan's vision for Taiwan was to be its agricultural appendage. Taiwan would grow and supply Japan with food and raw materials, starting with sugar and rice. Japan bought Taiwan's goods with little competition, shielded by tariffs. In the 20 years from 1915 to 1935, Taiwan rice exports to Japan grew from 113,000 tons to 705,000 tons. By the late 1930s, 36% of Japan's rice imports and 92% of its sugar imports came from Taiwan. This is classic export-led growth, and it reminds me of New Zealand and the United Kingdom. The island's colonial relationship meant that the UK bought all of New Zealand's dairy goods at whatever cost, fueling decades of unprecedented. In 1906, the life expectancy for the average Taiwanese at birth was about 29 years. By the 1936-1940 period, that life expectancy had risen to 45 years. The 1930s, prior to the war, saw plentiful amounts of food available to the Taiwanese. Agricultural output of beans, vegetables, and fruit tripled in the decade after the 1920s, fueled by Taiwan's Green Revolution.